Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. It may be appearing that Marvel is moving away from Jonathan Majors, more specifically Kang the Conqueror as well. So we've got some statements here saying that Jeff Loveness is reportedly no longer working at Marvel, and that's because they are likely going to be moving away from Kang the Conqueror. And we have it here, literally. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty confirmed to have ditched writer Jeff Loveness as he was, and I quote, wrapped up in Kang. And that leaves now Michael Waldron is going to be working on both Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars for Marvel. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting. Now, who is Jeff Loveness? Jeff Loveness is the chap who wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, obviously, that did not do very well, so it's not a surprise that he's not going to be coming back. But what is a surprise is that moving away, and I say surprise, it's half and half, that they're going to be moving away from Jonathan Majors. Now, it's important to note, as I always say these things, Jonathan Majors hasn't been convicted. We don't know the outcome of the trial yet. That's going to be happening this month. Not that long away now, actually. And it'll be interesting to see how that, comes around. If you're comparing like for like, and it's not like for like, but if you're comparing other individuals that have caused significant PR issues, I guess you could call it, for Disney, regardless of whether there's any, solidity behind the litigation elements, it's not a stretch that Disney would look to move away from Jonathan Majors. They've done knee-jerk reactions in the past, and this actually hasn't been a knee-jerk reaction. So, it is interesting. But let's take a look, right? This is fascinating stuff. While the studio spent months maintaining radio silence on just how they planned to move forward with their plans for their multiverse saga following Jonathan Majors' arrest for domestic assault, sources close to Marvel Studios have purportedly confirmed that they are, and I quote, likely going to be moving away from Kang the Conqueror as the Marvel Cinematic Universe's next big bad. Now, it is important to note, actually, that the only reason they decided to go with Kang the Conqueror was because of Loki Season 1's ending with He Who Remains. That is literally the only reason they decided to go with Kang the Conqueror. It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. They're just like, yeah, we'll just do that instead then. Let's build it all around him. Insane. Absolutely insane. Now, the insight itself was first detailed by The Ringer's Joanna Robinson, perhaps best known for the book which has been doing the rounds, MCU: The Reign of Marvel Studios. During the November 11th episode of the outlet's House of R podcast, she made these statements following a nearly 3-hour deep dive into the events of Loki Season 2 finale. Robinson and her co-host Mallory Rubin eventually broached the topic of the God of Mischief's new ability. Now, if you haven't watched Loki Season 2, basically what happens is Loki becomes the God of Stories. He has this ability to slip through time, and he is literally seen at the end of the season holding the multiverse together. He's quite literally the centre of the universe, which is comical, because obviously of who Loki is and his ego, but still, it's interesting. Now, his ability granted him basically overseer of the multiverse to manipulate any event through space and time. He can do whatever he wants. That's the God of Stories. I watched Loki Season 2. I don't particularly like that end for Loki. Yeah, I still haven't really thought, considered my actual overall thoughts for it, but I just thought it was a bit on the nose. So obviously, this power obviously could be used to erase Kang from existence entirely, should Marvel actually decide to drop Majors from their ever-growing roster of silver screen superhumans. Robinson then revealed a bit of information that suggests this outcome is actually more than likely. So, addressed the Majors-shaped elephant in the room, Robinson recalled to her co-host, I actually heard someone say recently, so the screenwriter Jeff Loveness, who wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, was supposed to write Kang Dynasty. I had it confirmed to me that he's no longer working for Marvel, which that's been long rumoured, so I don't really, I'd say that's all but confirmed now. Anyway, I asked the person why, and they said the reason why is that he was all wrapped up in this Kang storyline, and that they're likely going to be moving away from that. Now, that's not a stretch, because again, he wrote what was a financial failure for Marvel. I can't imagine the writer of The Marvels will be getting any more work either, quite frankly, unless they're a strong black lesbian woman. And then maybe they will, because, checking boxes. Anyway, there was this statement as well. So no official announcement that Avengers Kang Dynasty will now be called Doom's Dystopia or whatever. We don't know exactly what they're going to do, to be clear, but I think that this just gives them the perfect opportunity to be done with Major's situation if they want to be. And he's talking specifically about Loki. You know, his abilities do give Marvel the ability to just press X on Jonathan Majors completely. Now, Robinson's not the first to say sources close to Marvel suggest that Loveness is no longer right in the Avengers Next Ensemble adventure. This has long been done. May 18th, we had this statement from the Hot Mic podcast. Jeff Snyder says, "This is unconfirmed. My source is saying Jeff Loveness is off of the Kang Dynasty and that he fell off before the strike." Again, not a stretch because he wrote such an abysmal script for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania. Jeff Loveness, deserved or not, got a lot of criticism for his scripts. And yes, it sounds like they're going in another direction from what my source says. And there's been other individuals as well. My Time to Shine, Casey Walsh. Again, they said that basically he's off Kang Dynasty. Yeah, Waldron would be doing that as well on board. This is not a huge surprise that these things have sort of developed in the way that they have. It's interesting though, you know, for Disney it's a huge headache having this Jonathan Majors situation. So I can believe that they would look to try to remove that. And it's also important to note, we don't know how planned Loki was. We already know that one of the episodes was rewritten across an entire weekend. Literally just one weekend done. So yeah, and Kevin Wright, who was obviously working on Loki, did say, basically asked about Jonathan Major's legal issues, whether it changed anything in the finale. He says, no, nothing affected our finale. I think I said elsewhere earlier when the show was first coming out that the story that is on screen is the one that we set out to make. Remarkably, so no one was coming down telling us that we had to connect or set up anything for the future. It was sort of finish our story that we started. As far as where it's all going, I can't say, and not because I'm being coy. We're not part of those projects. What I would say is, I mean, I know Michael Waldron is working on them, and he loves, obviously, this world as he helped create it. So, again, another confirmation that Michael Waldron is working on the future movies. Literally confirming what's been leaked as a rumour. And no, I mean, the threat that we establish at the end of this multiversal war will come. Sylvie is just saying, let us have a chance. So I hope that people continue to run with that, because I would love to see what that story is. Obviously talking about Kang. But, yeah, fascinating to see. I mean, at the end of the day, at the very least, they've got rid of terrible writers. One, Jeff Loveness. It's not to say that Waldron's particularly better either. But you don't know how much oversight he had on him. And this sinking ship of Marvel, I mean, again, I said yesterday in my video, Marvel has single-handedly, and it is legitimately single-handedly, ruined two of the biggest, most profitable franchises in movie history. Star Wars, obviously not Kevin Feige's fault, but they still ruined it, Disney has. And then Marvel, MCU. These are two of the biggest, most profitable franchises in movie history with the biggest fan base, and they've squandered it. It's fascinating to watch. And you know how they squandered it and ruined it? All in an effort to try to get a non-existent audience that won't pay your bills. It's absolutely absurd. It is insane to me that they did that. It's absolutely insane. You've got two of the biggest fan bases in movie history, and you tried to get a different fan base. You are fucking stupid.